I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're doing well. Oh, I was like, what is that noise? It was Piper. It was Jessica Piper in the background beating on a gavel or something. Get her quieted down. I'm not in the mood for her today. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are doing well. It is... What time is it? We're a little late. It's about 9:09 p.m. On Tuesday, July 23rd. I cannot wait. I cannot wait until Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. I got to tell you, we're going to do a show on Thursday, and then I don't care if Biden comes back. I don't care if Kamala is the president. I don't care if Q was right and Trump sweeps back in and takes his right and lawful place on the throne as everyone thinks he's going to do, which is obviously completely insane. I am going to do the show on Thursday night. I'm going to turn my phone off. I'm going to lay down and I'm going to sleep until 6 p.m. Sunday when I get up to make the stuff for the Sunday show. Man, we've had a lot going on, ladies and gentlemen. It's been just run, go. Things have been going crazy. The news cycle has been just out of control. It's been really, really, really crazy. So, we've got a lot to talk about, and I'm glad you guys are here. You could be literally anywhere, but you have decided to be here, and I thank you for that. Whether you're here live, if you are here live, welcome. Thank you for being here. If you're here at some point at your convenience on via replay in the future, well, we thank you for being here then too, whenever you are here in time. If you're watching the live or the repeat video, thank you. If you're listening to the audio podcast, thank you. We are very, very, very appreciative of your time and your listens. So thank you very much. If you're here via YouTube, we're going to ask you to do the things. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell. Do all of those things. Please give us the finger. Give us the thumb. Like the content. If you're on the podcast platforms, you can do the thing where you like or follow. You can also leave a comment or leave a review or whatever. If you're on Facebook, you can leave comments too. So however you're watching, just do all the things that you're supposed to do, you know, the things that help. Listen, the only thing that I really truly care about is, number one, that you comment if you're here and you're watching and you're engaged, whether it's live or Memorex, and then that you share the show with everyone you know. That's all that really matters. Besides that, to hell with it. All right. So the other thing, yes, unfortunately, Chris Bunner did state the obvious. Friday is a birthday. Yeah, I don't know. I had it scheduled that I might come on Friday and say something, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I might break what I said. I might come on Friday and spend some. I might come on and see you guys on my birthday. I don't know. We'll find out. There's some days between now and then. So, all right, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. First and foremost, we got some breaking news. And of course, we go on in the evening, so it's not really breaking by the time we get here. If something ever is really crazy breaking, we would go live during the actual breaking time. But we've got actual breaking news that was like a couple of hours ago, several of hours ago, actually, by now. So we've got a recount update, but that's not what we're talking about yet. We will get there. Everybody with the recount. Everybody with the recount. Put your pants on. Hold your pants on. Take your pants off. Keep your pants on. Slow your horses. Buy a roll. Go see a man about a dog, or whatever those old sayings are. We'll get to the recount in just a moment. There is a timeline for these things. There's a start and a middle and an end. And I don't do well with that on my own. And then you guys get me all cottywompered and we go all in thousands of different directions. So here's the deal. We're going to be talking about mostly Delaware County tonight. We're going to do a Delaware County Council meeting recap. We're going to talk about the Delaware County Council. We are then going to do a Delaware County 2024 primary election recount update. Then I'm going to do a rant about That's the Job. Of course, that's the title of this episode, That's the Job. So we'll talk about that. But before we get to all of that, we do have breaking news. And again, I feel like I have to talk about this. Just because we have been following it, obviously, it is big news. So this this afternoon, I don't really know what time it was. I was in a dungeon all day. Oh man, Catherine. Thank you, woman. You do not ever have to do that, but thank you all the same. So basically you're donating to yourself, because those donations just help for us to do things that we need to do around here, which allow you a platform. So, I know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. I guess that kind of makes me like a prostitute. All right. Well, whatever. Anyways, no shame in my game. You ought to see me in heels. Okay. So breaking news, ladies and, for the people listening, what just happened there? We had a viewer, a listener, one of basically like a hanger-on, a contributing correspondent here, Dr. Catherine Callahan, donated an amount to the show through the super friends of the show donation. People can do that. I don't know. I don't even know how you do that. Catherine will have to come on someday and give people a walk them through how to do that. I don't even know how you do that. That's crazy. All right. The breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, it's not even going to be Biden here in just a moment because like we don't even know if he's around anymore. We don't know what the deal is. We don't know what's what, who's where, who's on first, where's Biden hiding? Hiding Biden. What's going on with him? So the breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, I keep telling you when to get there. I was down in a basement doing this recount, and my amazing mother texted me and said, all she said is, "She's out." And I knew exactly what she meant. Like, I did not even need any more information. I knew exactly what she was talking about. What's funny about this is, ladies and gentlemen, and this is how it can grab people, and this is how it needs to. 6 years ago, well, longer than that. I keep thinking I'm like 25, so it's longer than that. It's way longer than that. At some point, my mother was an investigator in the Delaware County Prosecutor's Office, and she worked in a government, and she barely knew that her boss was an elected official. She knew nothing about politics, man. She didn't know the difference between the mayor, the president. She didn't know what the dog catcher did. She had no clue about any of that crap. Since she's been retired, and even really just probably in about the last 10 years, boy, she's more on it than I am. She knows what's going on, and I love it. I am here for it. This second half of my mother's life, the revival in politics, I love sitting down and talking with her. Her and my stepdad both. My stepdad's a very intelligent man. He was a pharmacist, and he retired from being a pharmacist, and very, very intelligent, very engineer-like brained. And they would go vote, but they didn't know anything about politics. They didn't care. But now that like they're both retired and both like sitting at home, I love listening to them talk about politics. It's amazing. So my mother texted me today, and she said, "She's out." And by "she's out," ladies and gentlemen, she meant that the former director of the Secret Service, who put on a 4.5-hour show for us all yesterday, sent an email to her staff today telling them how bad it was and how much she hated it, but she would be leaving. Director of the Secret Service resigned Tuesday in the aftermath of the assassination attempt on former President Donald J. Trump. That unleashed an outcry about how the agency that is tasked with the core mission to protect the current and former president and other protectees could allow such an egregious attempt on the life to occur. Kimberly Cheadle, who has been at the head of the Secret Service since August of 2022, faced growing calls to resign, while several investigations into how a gunman was able to get so close to the Republican presidential nominee at an outdoor campaign rally in Pennsylvania back on July 13th. Her email says, "I take full responsibility for the security lapse." Great. In light of recent events, it is with a heavy heart that I have made the difficult decision to step down as your director. And she says this less than 24 hours of getting her ass thoroughly chewed on in an absolute amazing bipartisan show of force. It's crazy. Cheadle's departure was unlikely and will be unlikely to end the scrutiny, of course, of the long-troubled agency after the failures of July 13th. And it comes at a crucial juncture ahead of the Democratic National Convention and a busy presidential campaign season. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have promised more investigations. An inspector general's probe and an independent bipartisan effort launched at President Joe Biden's behest as really honestly one of like the last things he did before we went into like Bidengate, Bidengate, will keep the agency in the spotlight, which thank you, AP. I appreciate it. And you're right. It will keep her right there in the spotlight, the political spotlight. Cheadle's resignation came a day after she appeared before the congressional committee and was berated for hours by both Democrats and Republicans in what some are now calling basically a snuff film for her security failures. She called the attempt on Trump's life the Secret Service most significant operation failure, to which some said, no duh. She angered lawmakers by failing to answer specific questions or really any questions about the investigation. Biden said in a statement that what happened that day can never happen again. And he planned to appoint a new director soon. But, of course, no one, including Biden, even knew where he was at. So we're not really sure what's even going to happen there. The President and Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas thanked Cheadle for her service. I'm sure they gave her like a bunch of like cool little trinkets and they threw her a party. Mayorkas appointed Deputy Director Ronald Rowe as acting director. He has worked for the agency for one more year than Cheadle, so that's cool. At this moment in time, we must remain focused, Rowe said in a note to staff obtained by the AP. We will restore the faith and confidence of the American public and people we are entrusted to protect. So that's the story there, ladies and gentlemen. And look, she's not going to be able to just run and hide from this. I'm sure she's going to be on the hot seat for some time to come. And we're here for it. We're going to bring it to you, and we will fill you guys in. The congressmen and congresswomen were again today questioning witnesses on Capitol Hill as it related to the assassination attempt. And I foresee that going on for the next foreseeable future. Various investigations are going to be kicking off. We were not live streaming that as we had other local things that we were live streaming, and we're not going to be presenting most of them to you, just the really big ones. And when it really, really is important, other than that, you can just jump on YouTube someplace else and find it yourself. We will bring you the most important information. And like we did on Monday, we felt that Monday was something that we really needed to live stream. So that's the reason we did that. But other than that, we will just give you the highlights. And then when something really, really, really big is coming up, we will, of course, live stream that. One more national bit of news before we kick into the local stuff. And that is on tomorrow at 8 p.m., the man himself, the star of Weekend at Bernie's, President Biden, he will apparently be giving a speech from the Oval Office. And a lot of people are like interested to see how this looks, how he sounds, what he says, because this runs the gamut of being, okay, cool, this is just a normal everyday presidential remarks from the Oval Office, addressing the nation, and everything is A-okay. There's no problem. And yes, it's him. It's Wednesday and everything's fine. All the way to some are saying, was this pre-taped? Did they already plan this? Some are saying, will it be AI? Will it have been pre-recorded? Will it be someone else? Will it be a body double? There's all kinds of questions out there, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to get into the whole hoopla of, oh, he's dead. He's on another planet. They've frozen him. And, now, look, there's just no proof of that. Are things strange? Yes. Was the resignation letter strange? Yes. Was his signature on the letter strange? Yes. The fact that we have, for the first time, this is big history. This is the first time in history that a president, while being the incumbent, has decided that he would not continue on in the campaign. And I know most of you are going to say, no. But Johnson did it. But this, no, listen, you cut me off. And did so not by addressing the people first, but by putting that news out on Elon Musk's X. He tweeted his letter of walk away, his letter. I guess it's not a resignation letter per se. It's I'm bowing out of the campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a crazy thing. That is absolutely wild that they chose to do that using Twitter. What a wild world we live in. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not on social media, get there. And elected officials from all over, local, state, national, they need to be getting on social media. We are now in the metaverse. That's for certain. It's real crazy. So we will tomorrow. I've been thinking about maybe going early. We'll do a show at 9, but maybe coming on at 8 to live stream his remarks. I do not believe that he's going to talk for an hour. I fully believe that we will see 15 to 20 minutes at max with him. So I'll talk with Kate. This is why it's important for you guys to hit that subscription button so you can set up your notification. Tomorrow, you might want to be an hour early. We'll do a regular show at 9, but we might be on an hour early for the president's address. I think it's very important. We need to see if Brando can come on and watch Biden and then do a conspiracy theory block. I would be fine with that. I think the biggest conspiracy theory is right now we have to say, would Brandon be able to come on and do more than 15 minutes without JD cutting his internet? I think that would be interesting. We'll have to see what happens there. I do not know, but yeah, we will see. Stumblefoot calls 14.3 minutes with Biden or 14.3 minutes with Brando. Which one? Now we've got two different numbers we got to decide. So, okay, folks, that's it. That's enough national. Let's move on now to let me ask you, which way do you want to do this? I'll give it to you. You guys can decide. And this is how we're going to do it. If this is a choose your own adventure tonight, folks, I'm in a good mood. Number 1, if you want to hear about the Delaware County Council update first, and then the recount. Number 2 in the comments if you want to hear about the recount and then the council meeting. You guys decide. 1 for council first and then recount. 2 for recount and then council. You guys have at it. Let us know, and that's what we'll do. We will do something here like this.
I thought we said we were never going to play this horrid thing.
Was it really?
The jazzy polka.
I have it as Don't You Ever. Well, it looks like
we live streamed the council meeting earlier, so
what's that matter?
People watched it.
Well, what's
had
that
a
matter?
chance to see that. The recount's a total unknown.
It's not the meeting that you would be watching. It's the commentary on the meeting. You guys don't know what I was going to say. I mean, we're going to get to the council meeting commentary.
We can sum it up pretty easily.
Sure.
They're useless. They spent too much money, and it was a clusterfuck.
It's pretty, yeah. I have a couple of sneak attacks, but yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, we will do the recount. Hey, and here's the deal. The bottom line is the recount deal. It's realistically like I can do it in 3 minutes. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen who want to hear about the recount first. All right, let's do it. Let's do it to it. Let me Oh, my grandparents said hi to everybody, by the way. They're watching. And whoa. Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh my God. All right. Sorry. I was just getting I was looking at various messages. I've not been on my phone much today, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what the hell's going on with all of the phone messages I received today. Okay. I sent a blast in the message, but don't worry about it. I'm just going to put it up via Facebook. If it actually went through. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So the recount kicked off today in the Delaware County building basement. And so what happened was we got there, and well, I'm going to try to get this pulled up here. We got there, and they the clerk's office, I've got to say, did a really good job of having everything ready, having enough seats for everybody. They had everything put forward, and it was really good. I got set up right up in front and started taking some pictures and some videos. I got to tell you, it was like watching paint dry. I've been a part of recounts before. They're not fun. It's not a lot of excitement. It's basically 3 people about 5 feet away from you looking over some stuff, and every now and then they stand up and they're like, well, I don't know. So, ladies and gentlemen, the recount started just about 8:30 this morning. The process was they started with the absentee ballots. They went through the absentee ballots. After the absentee ballots, they then went through the machines. Now, I want to be very clear on what was going on here. This was a recount. It was not a challenge. So there are different things that go on, and there are different terminology and different outcomes. This was not a situation in which Ryan or anyone else was challenging the election. This was simply calling for a recount. So when there's a recount, what they do is they basically set aside what occurred on Tuesday, May 7th. They don't look at the numbers. They pull out the precincts, the polling places to be recounted, in the race to be checked, or the races. In this case, it was the county council at-large race, and they were recounting like 46 out of 70 some polling places. And so they looked through the Republican for the at-large race, and they just calculated it all up. I have a tally sheet here for the... I have a tally sheet for the absentee, where the absentee is where the majority of any kind of fluctuation really is going to be. And after everything was said and done, at the end of the evening, the recount commission was given totals. They had totals for each candidate. They had a subtotal. They totaled it all together. And then what happens is, with that number, they then take that, and tomorrow morning they will compare that against the results from May. And that's when they will then write up the report and say, this is what we found in the recount. Now, I can tell you unofficially, all right, and when I say that, what I mean is, what I'm getting ready to tell you is 100% the way that it stands. It's just not put in a report and sent to the court yet. At the end of May, at the end of the election in May, Tuesday, May 7th, the 7 people running, all right, you could pick 3. So the 3 top Republicans move on to November. And at the end of election night in May, your top 3 vote getters were Jessica Piper, Bradley Bookout, Eugene Whitehead, and Ryan Webb. Ryan Webb in 4th place. All right, so that means he was bumped out. And the margin of 3rd to 4th place was 63 votes. With the recount that occurred today, the only thing that changed is one absentee ballot was thrown out. And that one absentee ballot that was thrown out affected both Ryan and Whitehead. So both of their numbers went down by 1 vote each. So it meant the margin of loss to 4th to 3rd place remained the same, essentially. That being said, The results will be staying the same. Your third place is Eugene Whitehead. Your second place is Bradley Bookout. And your first place is Jessica Piper. I've talked to Ryan, and Ryan is perfectly okay with that. And when I mean that, I mean, he wanted to win. He wanted to win in May. He worked hard. He felt he worked hard. He did work hard. But it is what it is. He wanted to win, and today was a double-edged sword. He did not want there to be an issue with the election, because if so, that would mean that there was a problem. For him to win or for something to change, it would have to mean that there was a problem. You're always hopeful. You kind of go into things thinking, yeah, wouldn't it be nice? But Ryan was always very realistic about this. There are all kinds of people all over the internet cutting Ryan down, saying just some of the dumbest shit. There are people that were on my wall today, and these people were just, I don't know. It's always interesting. Someone made a comment, and Amber Green commented back and said something that was fitting. I posted these pictures earlier, and a guy came on and said, so Ryan came in last place, and now wants what exactly? To show he didn't finish last? I could understand wanting a recount if you finished within a marginal second place, but last, this is a waste of taxpayer money. Well, first and foremost, Ryan paid the money for the recount. So Ryan paid that money with citizen donation, not that he sought out, but that people gave to him. People approached Ryan. Ryan wasn't going to do this. The citizens asked him to do this, so he did it. He wasn't in last place. He was in fourth place in a 7-person race where the top 3 vote getters win, and he was in a margin that could be explained away by an error that was made when the polling place precinct 990 showed 0 votes on the day of the election, but in reality, over 190 people voted there. He only lost third to fourth place by 63 votes. 190 plus votes could cover that, twice over. So it's just interesting that people are willing to say, I mean, look, I get it. If you don't like Ryan, don't like Ryan. I'm fine with that. But to just say stupid shit, just to say that, I don't get that. I don't really understand that. So it is what it is. Ryan said that he's glad that the election process, at least in this time, seemed to be secure. And, everything seemed... everything seemed as it was. Ryan is okay with the results. He's not crying into a pillow tonight. He's spending time with his family and living life. He had a good council meeting today. We're going to talk about that. And a lot of what we're talking about here is going to carry over. And so it's interesting that these two things happened, because there's a lot of what we're talking about that really is going to matter when we talk about the Delaware County Council meeting from today. Ryan, I think, had made a post somewhere. Let me see if I can find it here. Ryan had actually made a post, and everybody's favorite mailman had decided to comment. And again, it's people honestly just commenting without having a clue. So Mike Jones says, Ryan's post said the election recount finally begins 3 months after the primary election. To which Mike Jones says, now, council person, you know, if you would have paid your fees when you should have, it would have been over by now. Well, first of all, Ryan paid his fees when he should have. Ryan didn't not pay the money owed. Ryan had the money owed the day that the lawsuit was filed, which was back in May. The clerk's office didn't take the money then, and Ryan tried to give it to the clerk's office. They would not take it. And it was only when they went to court and actually talked to a judge that Ryan said, you know, what do I need to do? And the judge told him what to do, and he did it. All within perfectly legit time frame. The fact that this took 3 months to complete was not any part Ryan's fault. Ryan wanted the recount to happen the day after he filed it. The thing that conspiracy theorists would think is, well, there's been a delay of 3 months. You know, couldn't they have done this or this or this? Don't go down that rabbit hole. We don't know, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you know, in Ryan's mind and people's mind, it's like, yeah, I don't want this delayed. I want this done right away. It was the court and the court calendar and getting all the people in the same room that took the time. That's what happened. That was all out of Ryan's hands. And Mike Jones knows that, because while Mike Jones isn't a very intelligent human being, he's basically what do they call him? A mesomorph. He's a knuckle dragger. He's a caveman. That said, he's been around this stuff long enough to know that what he's saying isn't true or right. He's just putting in see, Mike Jones is a disinformation artist. Mike Jones knows what he peddles in is bullshit, but he puts it out there because he knows that there are low information vote gatherers, and that those low information vote gatherers and information gatherers will be out there. Voters, low information voters and low information gatherers. He knows that they will be out there and they'll be scurrying around, and they will see his post and they will think, ooh, look at this. And then they will take that as the gospel and they will run with it. So it's not like, if people ever see Mike Jones or other people being purposefully obtuse, it's not because these people are just completely stupid. Yeah, they're stupid enough. But Mike knows exactly what he's doing when he does this. He goes on to say, don't attempt to try and lay it off on anyone else. Ryan didn't try to lay it off on anyone else. He just said, finally, after 3 months, it's getting started. He then said, note, you can't use gift cards to pay court costs or bonds. Just saying. Jeez Louise. So to which I needed to respond and ask Mike how the King re-election was coming. I said, "Hey, how's that King re-election coming for you guys, Mike? I'm still saying there's no way that he'll beat Brand. What are your thoughts?" So we'll see what his thoughts are.
On a side note, neither he nor King have commented on King's loss.
I know, isn't that interesting?
And it's July now. It's been months.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, where are these people at? Yeah. Really.
Can you at least say thank you to everybody who voted for me?
Yeah, no, they're not. Yeah, they're like, screw you guys. Yeah, it's gross. It's absolutely gross. So that's that. It is what it is. Look, people say, why do you like Ryan? You don't have this opinion. I'm like, first of all, you don't know what my opinions are. I mean, I will let you. Don't you try to put my opinions in your mouth, regurgitating them to me. I've got this right here. I'll tell you what my opinions are. I can have opinions and thoughts, and I can be friendly and be nice and be kind, and I can like Ryan, and I can agree with things he says and disagree with things he says. I can not like things he says, and I can like things he says, and I can think, oh, I wouldn't do that, but still think that he's a good counselor for various reasons. It's fine being on the fence about Brand. At the bottom line of it all is I too am on the fence about Brand. But I'll tell you who I was not on the fence about. I was not on the fence about King. And so while I can be on the fence about Brand, look, I am guaranteed of one of two things. Brand will impress me, or Brand will do a horrible job, and I will not like him. One of those things is going to happen. King has already completely jumped the shark, shit the bed, blew a hole in the bottom of the boat. So, in my opinion, in this situation, the old adage, what's better, the devil you know or the devil you don't? I'll take the devil I don't and deal with him at that point. It's always easier to get rid of a first term incumbent than it is to get rid of a 4, 5, 6 term incumbent. So it is what it is. Now, keep in mind, Brand's not just a shoe-in. He does have a Democratic challenger for November, and we'll have to see how she is. You know what I mean? It just depends. I don't have a whole lot of hope for her just because I know her, and she's further down the list, in my opinion, than Brand is. So, I'm still leaning heavily Brand, but that doesn't mean anything. I supported Ridenhour, and look where we are. So, I have no problem supporting you in May and turning on you by November, or supporting you in November and turning on you by November 14th. You know what I mean? It is. You disappoint me, I don't care what. Everything in the past is the past. All I care about is where we are now and what's going on in the future. Ashley Wright, she used to work for the city. She's related to all the Donnie Wrights and all those people from the city, all that crap. So it is. It's not that he's he always has. Brandon, Dan are super close. They're super close. Now, that doesn't necessarily bother me because Brand's actions, talking to Brand, here's the deal. Ridenauer's this kind of person. Ridenauer says, "Yeah, I'm a conservative. I'm a conservative. Shoot, I might even be a libertarian." And then we're like, "Well, Ridenauer, we've got to get in there and use our First Amendment rights." And he's like, "Oh, I don't know about that. I don't want to do that." Where Brand's like, "No, we are not shutting down communications. We are not, you got a First Amendment right, and by God, you will have that to speak." So, we'll see. We'll see. I like a lot of what he says, but actions speak louder than words, and we will see. So, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. My hopes were that Brand would get into the commissioner's office, and it being Brand and Sherry and Shannon, that Brand and Sherry would link up. He would pull Sherry up, and they would be kind of, the two-man group against Shannon. But I have heard through the grapevine that Sherry and Brand have had a couple of conversations, at which point Sherry has basically admonished Brand and told him, don't be coming in doing a bunch of crazy stuff right away. Just come in and sit back and listen and watch. Which, look, could be good advice. Or it could be like she's going to link up with Shannon. And if that's the case, then Brand will be the odd man out. The difference is Brand will be like Ryan in a lot of aspects, where he will not hesitate to speak up. So we'll have to see how that goes. I don't know. Okay. The last thing I want to say about the recount is it's over. It's done. And Rick was in a good mood today. I appreciate Rick. Rick was polite. He was very helpful. And we are where we are. So, elections matter, and being registered, getting out and voting. And look, folks, elections aren't anymore. You just go and you vote, and that's it. Chances are, if you just keep quiet and you go to the polling place and you vote for your guy and you leave and you haven't talked to anybody, you're not going to win. Your guy's not going to win. Chances are in order for your person to win, you've got to be vocal and you've got to bring people. Think about this. Think if every person, every one of you watching, there's via this way, it looks like 33 at the moment, 34. If every single one of you currently, it does not matter what side you're on, doesn't matter if you're for my guy, doesn't matter if you're against my guy, it does not matter. But imagine if every single one of the 34 of you went out and recruited 10 people. That's 340 people. Everybody knows 10 people. You know 10 people that you can talk to. You know 10 people that you can continuously lean on between now and November. Do it. Then we wouldn't have to worry about these recounts. So that's that. All right. Recount information over. As soon as I have the report, I will keep you guys posted. I will let you guys know what's happening. And that'll be that. As soon as we have that report, I will post it out and let you guys see it. All right. From there, ladies and gentlemen, we're going on to the Delaware County Council meeting recap. And I think that a lot of you watched the meeting. You either watched it on our channel or you watched it via their channel. And I'm very happy about that. Continue watching it from our channel. I thank you. I'm going to continue thanking you for doing that. That's wonderful. We love seeing the engagement, specifically early in the day. It's kind of interesting. We're always here on the other end of the day, of the evening. So it's nice to see people at all hours of the day engaging with the spotlight. We really are thankful for that. So the Delaware County meeting, there were a couple of big things that were on the agenda. And today's meeting was going to be big. Now, I'm not going to make a countdown yet. I need to, like I have for Basham, but I'm not going to make it yet. But ladies and gentlemen, we only have 6 more meetings with Ryan Webb in the council seat. So people, you need to start savoring it because things are going to change. Things are going to change. All right. Delaware County Council meeting today was very frustrating because they met at 9 o'clock. They were supposed to have their regularly scheduled meeting. They were supposed to take a break at the end of the meeting, a 5 or 10 minute break, and then come right back. And they were supposed to have a work session that lasted several hours. I posted all over the feed this morning. Stay tuned for the work session. Yada da da da. There's a work session. There's a work session. The meeting ended, and Ryan came downstairs, talked a little bit. He then went back up to the meeting, and I get back on, and I'm looking for the meeting, and I'm like, "There's no meeting. There's no meeting. Where's the meeting?" I'm looking all over.
And you texted and yelled at me.
I'm like texting Kate, yelling at Kate. I'm like, "What's going on? Did you get rid of the meeting?" Yeah.
I waited. I did.
No, I
kept reloading, and it never came up.
I was mad. I was mad when I texted that. I wasn't at you. I was mad at them.
Could have fooled me.
Did you really? Wait, pause. Did you really think I was mad?
No.
Oh, I was. I wasn't mad at you. I was mad. I literally almost left the thing. I almost left the basement and walked upstairs and been like, "Oh, why is this not being live streamed?" I text Ryan. I said, "Hey, why are your loser friends not live streaming this? And you know what he said to me? This is a work session. They call this a work session. Now, I'm not being mean to Ryan. That's Ed talking. Oh, I took an elevator ride with Ed today. It was very odd. I'll get to that at the end. But yeah,
So,
no.
so there was no streamed live.
There was no streamed live. Yeah, man, they're idiots.
I was being silly, but okay.
Yep. No, you're good. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everything Kate does. And I was mad. I'm glad she could pick up on I was mad. Well, she says she didn't know, but no, I was mad. I'm like, well, for let me do this. I don't want to lie. I don't want to be a liar. I was mad. First. All right. I'm going to be honest. At first, I was like, damn it. Did Kate kill the feed? I'm pretty sure I told her there was a meeting. Then I was mad at myself because I was like, maybe I didn't tell her. Then I was mad at them because I was like, those bastards. They didn't live stream this. So it went from just like a little peak, like, oh, maybe I'm perturbed that Kate killed the feed. Then I was mad at myself. Then I was steamed at them. So I I messaged in the group. I said, I said, did you kill the feed? And she says, no, I let it run for another hour. She said, I'm letting it run for another hour or two for fun. Like, I thought maybe she meant yeah, I killed the feed. The meeting was over. And I'm like, okay, so it's not streaming the council work session then. She's like, no, they stopped the feed. I'm like, okay. So yeah, I don't know. I wasn't mad at her. I was mad at them. So that's funny. Anywho, we'll come back to that because that's very important. Not streaming the meeting. Keep that in your dome. All right. Let's go ahead and start this. Welcome, timing issues. Welcome aboard. Let's start this.
All right, good morning and welcome to the Tuesday, July 23rd County Council meeting. I call the meeting to order. Let's go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And today is Dan Flanagan's birthday, so we're going to have him kick us off.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Bibbidi.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Webb. Here. Mr. Flanagan. Here. Mr. Mogul. Here. Mr. Hughes. Here. Mr. Whitehead. Present. Mr. Camps. Yes.
Here.
Freeman. Here.
All right, and a reminder, questions from the public may be directed to County Council, dist@co.delaware.in.us. Again, that is County Council, dist@co.delaware.in.us. Was the agenda posted, or is that? All right, and at this time, I'll entertain an approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Eugene. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan. Yes. Mr. Hughes. Yes. Mr. Mogul. Yes. Mr. Webb. Yes. Mr. Whitehead. Yes. Mr. Camps. Yes. Mr. Piper.
Yes. All right, now I'll entertain an approval of the June 11th special meeting minutes.
Wait a second.
Yes.
I make a move to untable the June 11th
Thank you.
meeting committee. Second.
Move from table. Eugene.
Let's listen to
Second
these
by Dan.
meeting
Now I'll
minutes
entertain
to
that
hear
motion.
if there's anything happens here.
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by
Can I
you.
take a roll call on tabling?
You're right. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan. Yes. Mr. Hughes, abstain. Mr. Mokel. Yes.
GW.
Ms. Webb. Yes. Mr. Flan. Yes. Chance. Yes. Piper.
Yes. All right, now I will entertain a motion to approve. I'll entertain, yes, a motion to approve.
Second. Third, I'll make the motion. Second.
We're on a roll today. Motion by Dan, second by Eugene. Roll call, please.
I like that she just laughs through them not
Yes.
knowing the process still.
Mr. Mokel. Yes. Mr. Webb. Yes. Mr. Flan. Yes. Chance. Yes. Piper.
Yes. All right, now we'll move on to approval of the June 25th County Council meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Eugene. Roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan. Yes. Mr. Hughes. Yes. Mr. Mokel. Yes. Mr. Webb. Yes. Flan. Yes. Chance. Yes. Piper.
Yes. All right, we'll move on to our transfer and appropriation agenda. Starting off in County General, Prosecutor 137, 118, 101, Deputy Prosecutor.
Did you notice that no one around here seems to be able to get their damn banners correct?
51 cents.
What do you mean?
115, 101,
Look at the
Deputy
banner.
Prosecutor, negative 2,656.89 cents. 220,
County.
operating supplies, positive
Council meeting. Keep going.
50 cents. Total
June.
transfer.
Oh, yeah.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. We had a very long, fun discussion about computer replacement in Finance Committee. Would you like
Is it
to
a thing?
share what you're planning to do here? Lisa Carr from the prosecutor's office. So I'm asking to transfer funds. We had received,
Wait, is this the meeting from today?
from Jim Fluke in IT, telling us that the Microsoft.
Well, if you caught it, they were approving the minutes from the June 25th meeting.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's Robbie. There's Robbie Slaughter. Yep, today, that's, yeah,
So
you're right.
I have asked to transfer money into my
Ridiculous.
operating supplies so that
Well, you know, and it's,
I have
no,
money
no,
to purchase
pause.
the licenses.
Ha ha.
There was discussion that
It's all the same person. It's all the same person. The same person makes all these mistakes. It's Mark Slusher at Endpoint Creative making all of these mistakes. So
I
yeah, let's pay
consider
him some more
getting
money.
the
Let's give him some more
something about
government
a
contracts.
proposal or a report of what the needs actually are. So I asked that the money could go ahead and be transferred into my budget.
So they go
And
through
I
this,
would
they
let
go
it
through
sit there,
the initial parts of this,
depending
which
on
is
what we
basically
needed
just
for
some,
the
you know,
office.
housekeeping things that they've got to do, transferring money from back and forth.
Bring it down and just sitting there. I guess I recognize the importance of getting the systems on the same page like Matt was explaining. I guess my only objection to it would be the fact that putting the money in advance and just letting it sit there rather than you come to us in 2 months and say, hey, here's the invoice, this is what it is, I need to make this transfer, and then us doing the transfer then.
I did get a quote from Jim. It was $303.50 per computer, per license, I'm sorry. I have 27 computers in my office, so this is anticipating updating what I currently have that's not on Office 2021.
So we'll jump ahead here.
Commissioners about
If you have not watched this meeting, as I always say, you know, it would be worth going back and watch. We're just going to hit the highlights because we got a lot of commentary.
what our plan needs to be for 2025. I'm just curious why this wouldn't have been included in the budget for the amount. Did you kind of educate me on if either it wasn't included or if enough wasn't included?
Enough wasn't included.
What would make that change? From what we budgeted, why would we be 2,800 short? Did they like raise their rates in like the middle of the year? Or
No, I not budget them correctly.
just a simple error?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have money from our investigator line because our investigator retired at the end of January. And with the salary surveys, and we redid his,
That's a legitimate thing. I really appreciate her response that she made a mistake. You don't hear that. I really respect her saying that. So, okay.
his job description a little bit.
We're going to move ahead here. This is the first big deal. I want you to listen to what happens here, folks.
121, 101, finance deputy, negative $644. 198, 101, part-time, positive $23,426. Total transfer zero.
Make the motion to approve. I will second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. During finance committee, Tanya was present and was explaining this to us, and it was a lot of cleanup and lines that she found while doing the deep dive into budgets for next year. If we have any additional questions.
I do.
Yep.
I have a couple questions. The amounts that are being taken out, hell, I lost it. There are quite a bit of amounts, for employees. Are those open employee positions, and that's why those amounts are there to be able to be transferred? Some of them are. Okay. Like, is the majority of them? Well, we had 2 open positions that came up in the last 6 days. So, 2 of them would be positions still open. And the reason we moved that money to part-time is to keep those services provided to the public. So we're moving that full-time money that's on the balance on those particular line items to the part-time so we can keep service to the public. So is this the money that would be allocated for those full-time positions for the rest of the year? No, just from the period of the time of which the position came open to the date of which we've filed this transfer. And then my other question, because we plan to hire full-time people, once we can find someone to accept positions for the pay that we're offering. This is going to part-time, $23,426. My question is this part-time, is any of this $23,000 going to consulting for out-of-state contract employee from Texas? We're not allowed to do that. It can only be part-time help. I'm sorry. We can only pay part-time help out of part-time money. Consulting money has to be paid off contractual services. Okay. Maybe I was wrong on it. I thought when that was done that there was $5,000 allotted in part-time money. And I remember sharing concerns about the commissioners overstepping the boundaries and agreeing on a $30 an hour rate when we had settled on a $20 an hour rate for part-time employees. And I believe at the time, Jessica, you said if they run out, they have to come back to the council, and we can always say no. And I followed up by saying, but we don't ever say no. I thought that was in part-time money. You're saying that was in contractual services? You're mixing apples and oranges. That's what I'm trying to get at. That's what my understanding was. It was in this. That wasn't contractual services. That approval for that was considered for part-time help. Had nothing to do with contractual services. But that conversation that day was for the part-time help. It was specifically related to that person. Part-time help, correct.
That wasn't I think we were working on updating the salary ordinance.
I know, but I feel like
which would be separate from any contractual service, if I recall correctly.
I'm hearing 2 different things, because I just said I thought it was part-time help, but you said it was contractual services. And you said
person you're talking
I didn't say it was. Say again? I never said it was contract services. You said that. So is any of this $23,000 going to pay towards the out-of-state guidance that we received from the employee who just delivered? Okay, I'll say it again. We are not allowed to do that. So the answer is no. Okay, thank you for being clear. Okay, so what exactly does this $23,000 pay? For part-time help, provide service to the public until we have full-time people in. So, we're in difficulty trying to find full-time people.
So did you catch what he just said? Do you get what's going on here? Ed is doing everything that he can do to talk around in circles. The worry here, ladies and gentlemen, is that it's for Texas Charlie. Y'all remember Texas Charlie, the gentleman from Texas that they brought up here, and he was working, and then after a little bit he wanted to go home, and they wanted to pay him like $25 an hour to be at home, and the council said no. So then the very next month, the commissioner said, well, we'll enter you into agreement with $30 an hour, 35, something. And Sherry's like, that sounds like a great, we're getting a great bargain. Well, now Ed, he's needing more money. I'm not really sure, because they talked in circles so much, who it's for. My worry, though, is it's either for Texas Charlie or Henry County Chad Malacote. And either one of those, I've kind of take issue with, and I still want to know what the hell they're doing, how long they're doing it for, why they're doing it, and how they're getting paid. But let's continue going on and listen to the rest of this.
What we pay. So we can't stop providing the service to the public. I understand that. Using that money to pay people to provide the service. But if we're paying them for part-time, why wouldn't we just hire them for full-time? They don't want full-time help. They won't work full-time. They would if they wanted. So this $43,000 that pays for.
I wouldn't work full-time if I was making more money working part-time too. I mean, this runs into the same deal as Dustin Clark in Muncie. Dustin Clark was a supervisorial role where he's not making any kind of overtime because he's salary, and he's like, no, I want to get that overtime. So they snake him down and give him a working foreman title, give him the title, let him have the title, but put him into another job section, and now he gets to make all the overtime he wants plus all the other extra crap. And so it's this case where, yeah, these people could work full time, but why the hell would they do that? They're making more money as part-time employees.
That have already done work and then also puts money in your account to pay people like for next month, so they can continue providing the services until we find full-time help. And Tanya had mentioned want to move it into all into part-time until it's needed, and we'll go back to county general at the end of the year if it's not used. Right.
Which is typical for any funds that don't get used.
I guess the only other question I would have is how many part-time employees do we have? Two. Okay. All right, thank you.
Any additional questions?
Here comes the vote.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Flanagan. Yes. Mr. Hughes. Yes. Mr. Camps. Yes. Mr. Merkel. Yes. Mr. Webb. Yes. Mr. Wyatt. Yes. Mr. Piper.
Yes. All right, moving outside the county general. Adult user fee fund, 214. 220 operating supplies, negative 2,476.29. 310 professional.
So at the end of that, basically what it's going to take is we're going to have to watch what goes on. We're going to have to see what happens and keep track of this. And if it's something that they were not telling the truth about for some reason, some way, somehow, then we're going to have to go back and ding them on the backside of this. All right. From here, we'll jump forward to 3705.
Services, positive 2,476.29. Total transfer, 0.
I'll make the motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan. And data with these trials. And Of course, every trial gets appealed. Felonies go, we have no control what trial goes.
Yeah.
Oh, look
It's
at
up to the
this.
attorneys what they choose to go forward with on jury
Timing
trial.
and
It's just the timing of it. And this year, it's been a ton of murder and a ton of level ones.
Crimes are happening this year and being prosecuted this year.
No, these are old ones.
Okay.
Some of them
See, that's
are
what I was
from,
asking.
it's the timing,
Yeah.
yes. Some of them are from 2020. So like, it's just all catching up, and now these are the ones that are moving forward. It seems to be the level one and murders that the prosecutor and defense decide to try. When you go into a court, you can see their calendar is stacked with, sometimes 15 trials a Monday. And then they narrow it down to which case that they are saying, okay, we're gonna go with this case. This is what we're going to go for, or this is what we're prepared to do, or our client's ready to go. And it seems to have been murder in level one all year.
So on that last vote, this is big what Counselor Webb says here. They had me thinking I heard it wrong, so he voted for it. It was a 7-0 vote. It was only after rewatching it that I seen that I was right with my original interpretation of the conversation. So it would have been 6-1 if he would have voted no. It still would have passed. But at least I'm glad that someone caught that. And now we can watch them and ding them on it. If it'll be easy to tell. It will be easy to tell what they do or don't do, and if or when they're doing what they shouldn't be doing or doing differently than what they said, then we call that out. All right, here we go.
So it's just happening to fall that way. Which I can get you stats on what's gone this year.
No, it's okay. I was
If
just,
that helps her.
I'm trying to help her next
Okay.
year if she thinks that the lineup looks as bad as it did this year.
It's really hard to predict because it just really depends on what cases end up going.
But she's right. You can go to any judge in our system. At least you can go to any judge and look at their calendar for Mondays, and they may have 15 jury trials set, and they have to.
Yeah.
And so,
And we have had a ton.
I would recommend that whatever the budget is for next year, I'm sure you're well aware of amongst your group of attorneys or public defenders, which ones are qualified to handle these cases. Being is that public defender position is likely a stepping stone out of law school for an attorney to get their 3 or 4 years experience and then go on to a law firm. You probably only got so many, so I would budget accordingly that those specific attorneys are probably going to be saddled with those cases the majority of next year. That way you don't have to ask for it. You said you're going to have to come back and get some more. I know this year's was a big increase, and it probably to the council they're like, wow, that's $50,000 more. And I know that's because we didn't have it the year before because of COVID, so it did look like a big increase. So I don't think it'll be too big of a jump from this year's, but I would definitely increase it.
The budgets have already been submitted, so.
I hope you submit it.
Here we come.
I really didn't, because when we submitted them in last pay period, I mean, I looked at what I had in my line, and last pay period, I looked before, and I had like 30,000 in there. I'm like, okay, well then, $17,000 worth of claims came in for last pay period. So because we did have like 2 or 3 trials during that, and we had a couple people complete appeals, so it is so hard to predict. I thought, yeah, I'm good till next month or whatever, and then I pay out 17,000 in claims. Never done that before since I've been here. So yeah, you cannot predict what trials are going to go.
135.
Here we go.
2,500 for a total of 2,000.
What they're going to be talking about here, ladies and gentlemen, what you want to watch for is they're going to be talking about the $2,500 stipend that they talked about last month that, in my opinion, they put on the table. And so listen to what happens here.
I'd like to interrupt for a second. Didn't we table this last month?
Table, so those both need to come off the table.
Yeah, so these shouldn't be new appropriations, right? They should be,
Have to be listed, but.
or somebody would have to make a motion to remove them from the table. That's generally the way we do a table business.
Right.
I'll make the motion to remove from the table. Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Bill to take off the table. Roll call, please.
So Dan and Bill brought them off the
Flanagan,
table.
Yes. Hughes. Yes. Chance. Yes. Stokel. Yes. Webb. No. Webb. No. Piper.
Yes.
Woo! Whitehead actually voted with Ryan. 2-5.
Are we gonna talk about both these at the same time,
Mm,
similar to last month?
were they well, I don't think they were tabled together, so they'll need to be discussed separately.
Okay. Well,
You want me to read the next one? Well, I need a motion to approve now that it's off the table.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I'll need a motion to approve now that it's off the table.
So moved. Second.
Is that you, Dan?
Yes.
Okay, motion by Bill, second by Dan.
Bill and Dan again.
Okay. May I start?
Yes,
Do
you
we have
may.
somebody from the clerk's office here to represent them? No, I think they're downstairs. They're really busy, yeah. We could watch last month's video. It's the same thing.
You can come on up and we'll.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
So, thank you for coming up and representing the clerk's office. So, we talked about this last month. This was presented to us last month as a stipend that the state made it available for the council if we so seen fit to award both. I'm going to talk about it and do those, even though we're only talking about the clerk. The clerk and the auditor, $2,500 stipends, only during election years. And I strenuously objected to this last month for multiple reasons. And since it seems like we're on repeat this month, I'll just repeat what I said last month. And last month, what I said was, we had an extremely difficult negotiation to get our budget last year to an acceptable number where we didn't have to borrow any money. And we did that by county employees not taking raises. The majority of them didn't get anything. I'd say most people in this room didn't get anything. We did that by our sheriff stepping up to the podium and forfeiting his mandatory salary increase. Double digits. It's like, I'm gonna go off top, it's like $12,000, something like that. Forfeited it. That's not just 1 year, that's compounding. That's year over year over year over year. As long as he's sheriff, he forfeited it so we could make our budget. And we made our budget. It was a lot of tough decisions, but we made our budget. So for us to come in here now, when all of those county employees didn't get anything, and our sheriff forfeited his salary, for us to turn around and give out stipends to elected officials, I kind of feel like is a middle finger to everybody who did what they had to do to ensure that we could reach our budget. So for that reason, I'm going to object to this, and I'm actually going to take it even further than that. If we pass it, I'm going to make the motion that we return Sheriff Skinner his money that he forfeited last year, and I'm also going to make the motion that we give every county employee a $500 stipend as well. Because if two elected officials deserve $2,500 stipends, then
this was well played by Counselor Webb. We're back in the same spot we were last month. I'm not even going to talk about this a whole lot because we covered it for like 2 hours last month. There is a new law put forth by the Indiana State General Assembly, which we know the last couple of years, the only thing they've done was do things to look out for themselves and their friends. So they've put some kind of new law together where due to the clerk's duties as election administrator, which was always part of the office of being the clerk, so I'm kind of confused. But because they could be in that role, they can request an additional $2,500, like a stipend just comes to them. For some unknown reason, the clerk can do the same, or the auditor can do the same thing, although the auditor has nothing to do with the election. So I'm confused. Well, those two, Rick Spangler and the auditor, the Republican chairman, Ed Carroll, came to the council meeting last month and raised hell about this, wanted a big fight, yada, yada, yada. They ended up tabling it. So that means, folks, for those of you that might not know, it's on the table and it can only come off the table and be discussed. It can only come off the table if one of the counselors brings it off the table. After 6 months, if it doesn't come off the table, it just falls off. And then after that 6-month period, it can be brought up again. Nobody took this off the table. When the agenda came out a couple days ago, right there, clear cut, it was there. Someone had typed it and put it on there as if last month never happened. What's Kate got here? They could pull up the political spotlight. Yeah, okay. He basically put the council on the spot. Either vote this down or be in a position where that you have to give everyone stipend or vote no and prove that you're ass lickers. Absolutely. So let's see how they deal with this.
Damn it, everybody else deserves it as well. That's what I got to say about it. Thank you for representing the clerk.
It's unfair for her to stand there, but I wouldn't say it quite as dramatically, but I do think this is something that can be done within budget time.
Of course, Kantz agrees with Webb, but he's got to distance himself too because Webb's the odd man going out. Oh, I wouldn't say it quite as dramatically. No, you wouldn't. You'd say it like a fence sitter. You'd say it like a person who's got both of your feet in different sides on different sides of the fence. That's what you would say it as. Just like, hey, you did. You said it right there.
And I just want confirmation too that the stipend goes back to the clerk and not employees of the office, right? It just would go back to him.
Right, Jessica. Like that's what Ryan is saying. He doesn't understand why we would just be paying the clerk and the auditor. And if we're going to just be paying the clerk and or the auditor this new money, then the county also needs to be paying everybody else, plus giving back Sheriff Skinner his money that he forfeited, that he gave up in order to be a team player.
It only be used for him. So, okay.
I just can't imagine people at the legislature in their infinite wisdom, thank you, singling out a couple of people. They work hard. I don't think anybody's going to deny that. But I do think that we have a lot of people that work hard, that are department heads. And it would appear to me that we would now make probably, obviously, 2 people happy to get a stipend. And at the same time, have several hundred people kind of scratching their head, or at least a department head scratching their heads, and probably starting to come back to us next month and the month after saying, hey, you know what, I worked hard, I went above and beyond, and these are the reasons why I'm here asking for an appropriation, the same as a couple other people may or may not be given. And I just think it sets a poor precedent for future. Yeah, I think you've really hit on it. House Bill 1328, this is what happens, is that some council in Smokestack County, Indiana, wanted to give good old Sam a stipend, and their council attorney said, no, you can't do that. So they went to the legislature and stuck this in a bill. And the legislature really is talking out both sides of their mouth because they said that we set the salaries. But now they're setting stipend about for the clerk, and then after the clerk's got it, then the Auditor Association said, well, we ought to get some too. So I'm going to talk to our legislators. This kind of thing shouldn't ever appear again.
Yes.
This is not the right way to determine any kind of compensation for our elected officials.
I feel like those unfunded mandates. I know for me personally, I really hope, I mean, we don't know what our max levy numbers are or anything for next year, but, pardon me, I'd really like to see us be able to give everybody something in salary increases next year. And, you know, $5,000 doesn't sound like a whole lot, but that does go to enough for, a few employees. And I really like to see us, I mean, we worked so hard not to appropriate anything. I mean, obviously there's been some appropriations we've had to make, but everyone's worked so hard.
That's laughable.
At the end of last budget to try not to make appropriations so we could try to get some of these salaries adjusted.
Yeah, that's right, Kate.
That we hired
You're exactly
to
right.
So I know where I stand on that. So do you have any other questions or comments?
No, I will state that on the clerk one particularly, there is a language in that House bill, I think, that stipulates that it's really meant to try to cover if you don't have an election deputy or whatever the title is to run the elections, which I think we have a deputy election person.
I understand, and our clerk, Rick, and all the prior clerks spend enormous amount of hours in general election years, and I'm not disputing that at all. I don't dispute the auditor. We talked about at Finance Committee. At one time, there was one audit a year coming from the outside. Now he has 6 or 7. Tremendous increase in volume of work. This isn't the way to.
I do have one more comment. After hearing, obviously we've not voted, but after hearing everybody's position, it kind of doesn't really seem like there's too much support for it. So my question is, this was tabled last month, but it's on the agenda this month. So if this gets, well, I guess we could say, let's just say theoretically, if something got tabled again, would it repeatedly show up on the agenda until it's voted down, or would someone just have to bring it off the table as like, we have new business, old business, tabled business, or would it be on the agenda each time?
It'll be on the agenda, and we have to bring it off the table
Every time, every month.
We can vote not to bring it off the table also.
Okay. All right. Thanks for clarifying that.
But this one has been removed from the table and now it's open for vote.
Sure.
We have a motion and a second. So I think we've answered all of our questions and had all of our comments. So roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan? No. Mr. Hughes? No. Ants? No. Ms. Coco? No. Mr. Webb? No. Mr. Wyatt? No. Ms. Piper?
No.
7 no's?
Motion to bring the auditors off the table?
Did you catch Piper? She kind of stalled for a second there. I think she forgot that it is okay to use the word no.
No, she doesn't think it. She still doesn't like it. She don't like it. It's mad. She's mad. You could tell she's mad. And this is amazing. This is like the second meeting in a row, I think, that Ryan's got them to vote no on something. And it's like only the second time, 2 times in his whole 4-year career.
But it's ridiculous that he has to shame them in front of the public to get them to vote no.
I know. It's such a bloody fight. It's not just like, hey, this doesn't make sense. Like, listen to this. And you're exactly right. Ed was turning red because that was the clerk's stipend. Now he's got to go for his stipend. So I think he saw the writing was on the wall with that.
Yeah. But Piper's kind of delayed in her vote there just ever so slightly, because I think that she was, oh shit, I'm supposed to say no to this one.
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, it is. It was amazing. That absolutely amazing. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to continue on from here.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan? No.
This is removed off the table.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Mr. Hughes? Yes. Ants? Yes. Ms. Coco? Yes. Mr. Webb?
Stick with my no.
Ms. Wyatt?
No. Piper.
Yes. All right, motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Matt. For discussion.
And I want to agree with, reiterate what Mr. Hughes said, and that is, this is the way to handle it.
Any other further comments or statements on this request?
With auditors, I'd just like to make a comment. I sent all of you an email listing all the different projects we got. And we're working between 8 to 10 o'clock every night. So, the facts are the facts.
Did you add this to your budget for next year as well?
I don't re-modify budget so many times, I can't tell you if it was on there or not.
Well, they'd have to be different because this is only can be done during election year, so it would have to just be.
That's for the clerk.
That's for the clerk.
That's for the clerk. We're on the auditor.
So they're not tied to the same standards. Okay, that's weird.
No, because we don't conduct elections.
Well, I was curious why the auditors was in there at all, so I just thought they were linked up with the.
I think it's got, I mean, I talked to legislators, about this. I'm sure all of you did, but the reason they gave me is because of the workload that this jobs require. Is the reason they supported that, potential increase for.
You ran for the office, you knew what the workload was, you knew what the salary was, and you ran anyway. Tough shit, buddy.
That's so funny. That is so funny. I talked to Ryan today after this, and like word for word what you just said. And that is true. He knew it. No one went knocking on Ed's door looking for him. No one's got a Pop-Tart shoot into a gun held to his head, asking him to hold this office. Nobody went saying, Ed, we need you. Ed, we want you. Nobody cares, man. Nobody wants him. No one wants these people. They're lunatics. They're only in it for themselves. They're not in it for the right reasons, man.
Yeah, I think it's valid that you guys are under duress when it comes to the amount of auditing work and the detail with which the state and particularly and others are coming at you with continued requests and changes and all the stuff that goes with it. So totally agree with that. I just again think that we deal with this in budget time.
And I would also add that I have no doubt that those offices put in tremendous amounts of work. There's a lot of new employees in there. There's a lot of turnover. Just a reminder that, as elected officials, we seek these positions out. No one comes knocking on our door and asks us to do it. We ask us to be put in these positions. So, that's all I'd have to say.
All right. Anything else? Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan? No. Ms. Hughes? No. Ms. Cantz? No. Ms. Bogle? No. Mr. Webb? No. Wyatt? No. Ms. Piper?
No. All right, moving on to the county general.
Listen, folks, that is a big victory. That is a big victory. That's I mean, that is really, really amazing.
Adult user fee fund 214, 147 support staff, $259.
Okay, now we're gonna jump. We've got one more point to look at.
Motion by Ryan, second by Dan.
Juvenile, you have 2 staff doing the same job.
Anything else?
We use Jeffers Driving Academy, where we allow kids to go do that. To do some restoration inside. If those bids were too high, we're gonna have to rebid. But then we're also looking at using money that we have in reserve to get the whole project done next year. It'll be our 150th anniversary.
We have, I believe that Dr. Dotson and Billy both are Ds, and the other two did not have a party affiliation.
And is it, when we make these appointments, is it two?
Okay. This, ladies and gentlemen, if you were here, do you recall, ladies and gentlemen, the committee and board appointments of last month? They were going to do the board appointments, the committee appointments for the Civic Center board and like the library board or something. I can't remember the two boards. Anyway, they tabled it to this month because Piper and or the auditor's office or somebody did not push this out and advertise it the way that it was supposed to be. They tabled it and they were going to do that, you know, between last month and now, so it would be done so they could deal with it, you know, today. Well, let's see what happened.
Per position, I know we're gonna talk about the one right now, but
We get to pick two. We're selecting two.
per board, it's two
For
seats.
this board, for the Muncie Public Library, we make two appointments, so you're gonna pick your top two.
First of all, I'd like to say, could you pronounce your last name again? It's Cornblow, as my wife says, it rhymes with plow. Mr. Cornblow. First, I wanna, say I appreciate you coming up here, and presenting yourself today. A lot of the time when, this council does board and committee appointments, a lot of people don't show up, you know, whether it be the people who are seeking reappointment or the person overseeing the board or president of the board or committee. So first of all, I want to say thank you for coming. That's a big deal. I just wanted to take a quick second, if I could, just for the record. I wanted to put it out there and explain why I voted no to take it off the table, because I do believe we need to make these appointments. We had some discussion last month. These same seats came up for appointment last month. And I had made a motion to table because my objection was, per our council rules that we've adopted, when we seek out board and committee appointments, we're supposed to make a public notification 2 months prior to the appointment. We're supposed to include the boards that are open for appointment, and we're supposed to include the description of what those board and committee seats, what their job functions are, what the requirements are for anyone in the public who wants to get involved in the community. Maybe they don't want to run for public office, but they want to get involved somehow. These board and committee seats are a great way to do it. And in the past, what we've had is most people don't get that information. And that's when we run into, I'm sure they do great jobs, but we get members who've had served 2, 3, 4 terms. And my personal position is thank you so much for your service. We appreciate every bit of it. But I kind of like making opportunities for everybody who want to get involved. So
Sure.
I voted and brought up the motion to table that last month. My objection and why I voted to keep it on the table this month is I still don't believe we've met those requirements of publicly notifying. We did talk about it in this public meeting, but we did not make the social media on our county Facebook page notification to everyone that these are the positions that are open if you want to submit your name for consideration. We've also not listed what those requirements are. So if you're a citizen at home and you want to be a part of one of these boards and committees, you don't know what the hell they do. We've not put that out there. In fact, I just received it myself yesterday. One of the council members apparently asked ChatGPT. I didn't even know if to take that serious, but apparently that was real. ChatGPT wrote up the description of what these board and committee seats do. So if we don't know, and we're just finding out yesterday, and we have to ask ChatGPT to tell us what it is, and how in the world is some citizen sitting at home who wants to get involved supposed to know whether they're qualified for this position or not? So I just wanted to take a second and publicly put it on the record for my objection as to why I voted to take it off the table. I think we should have left it on the table until those requirements were met per our own council rules. So, but thank you for coming, sir.
Do you have any additional comments? All right, so again, we're gonna pick two. When we do a roll call, pick your two appointments. Again, we have The current appointments of Dotson and Shepherd, and then Dennis Everett and Jessica Shrout. Roll call, please.
Ms. Flanagan. Keep it the same with Olin and Dotson, or excuse me, Olin Dotson and Billy Shepherd. Mr. Hughes. Dotson and Shepherd. Mr. Uncle. Dotson, Shepherd. Mr. Webb.
I like change. Let's go with Everett and Schropp.
Mr. Wyatt. Dotson and Everett.
Cantz.
Dotson and Shrout.
Spiber.
Dotson and Shepherd. So congratulations, you retain your board.
Thank you very much.
You're very
Appreciate
welcome.
your consideration.
All right, moving on to
God.
the Civic Center
It's so
Authority
frustrating.
Board. Which reminds me, after last month's meeting, it was brought to my attention that the council does not receive, not everyone on the council has been receiving the county council distribution list email. So I emailed Jim during our meeting to ask that we all be included, and he has assured me that all of council will now be receiving those. Apparently it was just Jim and myself.
Oh, it just came to my attention that I haven't been
Jim,
sending
that's
these
all
out
of us,
to
that's
everybody.
Actually responded back thanking him for that. So that has been addressed and taken care of. So on behalf of the CEO and president of the Horizon Convention Center, we received the following for the current appointments of Marianne Cradaville and myself. Joanne sent in, I am writing to let you know you have 2 upcoming appointments to the Delaware County Civic Center Authority Board. The authority who oversees the food and beverage tax in Delaware County, which is a dedicated tax for the bond, capital purchasing, and a portion of the operation of the Horizon Convention Center. Those 2 terms are ending July 31st, 2024. Jessica Piper, President, Marianne Cradaville, Treasurer. Both have served as officers, are signers on the bank account, and have shown great interest in the Horizon Convention Center and building economic development in Muncie and Delaware County. Our staff and I have enjoyed working with both professionals, and we would very much like them to continue doing a great work at the Civic Center Authority. Joanne McKinney, President and CEO. Our third nominee is Amber Green. She submitted, I currently serve on the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission, and I think the Civic Center Authority Board would be another great opportunity to apply my knowledge and talents. My experience managing the finances of the Redevelopment Commission and experience in large-scale event planning and management from prior professional history, I believe would be a benefit to this board. I take any public service seriously and will do extensive research regarding anything that should come before me as a member of this board. As a citizen of Delaware County, the importance of the convention center and what an asset it is to our community is not lost on me, and I would love the opportunity to work alongside those that have made it what it is today. Amber is here. Do you like to add anything else, or? You're here. It's up to you.
I'll just reiterate what Jessica read. I do have prior event planning and management skills from my professional history, and I do think the convention center is a huge asset to our community. I would like to see it become a little bit bigger. Essentially, I feel like if you're sitting on that board, you need to be selling our community to use the convention center to the best of its abilities, and I believe that I have the skills and talents to do that, so I would appreciate your consideration.
All right, do you have any other questions about this board?
Here it goes.
Read this, that you sent out relative to the Indiana code. So it's a 9-member board appointed as follows: 4 members appointed by the executive of the largest municipality in the county, that will be Muncie. 3 members appointed by the county executive body, or the commissioners, and 2 members appointed by the county fiscal body, which is the county council. No more than 5 members of the Civic Center Authority may be affiliated with the same political party. All members must reside in the county. The term of the authority is 2 years. Subsequent appointments shall be for 2 years. The vacancy shall be filled for the unexpired term by the authority that made the prior appointment. Affirmative vote of 5 members of the authority is required. Do we know the total makeup of the body?
Our two appointments are Republicans, and all three who are up for nomination are Republicans. And I believe the mayor has, two of his are Democrat appointments.
I have an incredible listed here as a Democrat.
Another thing we need to tidy up on the spreadsheet.
Do we know how many years each of these people have served on the Civic Center Authority board?
Mary Ann has been our treasurer for a while. She knows all the things fiscal. She's been on our bank account for as long as she's been on the board, so she's served in that capacity. I don't know when she came on. She was there when I joined.
How many years have you been on?
I believe. Call please.
Slam. Let me go with
August of 2020.
Here we go.
You're welcome. All right, so we have two appointments. Again, the options are Green, Cradaville, and Piper. Roll call, please.
Slam. Let me go with Jessica and Mary Ann. It's 2 years. I'd like to have 3 appointments. Yeah. Green and Piper. Mr. Mokel. Cradaville and Piper. Webb.
I'm gonna go with Amber Green and Mary Ann Cradaville.
Mr. Webb. Cradaville and Piper. Chance.
Piper and Green.
And Piper.
Mary Ann Cradaville and Jessica Piper. So the CCA board appointments will stay with the current appointments.
Dude.
All right. And thank you to all of those who put your names in. I know it's, and to Ryan's point,
It
earlier,
is such a crock of shit.
opportunity
That's,
of
I mean, that's
better
it. That is
communication.
it.
As I
That
mentioned
is
last month,
absolutely.
the spreadsheet that we get from the auditor's office.
Okay, so there's a little bit more of the meeting left. They've got a couple, they've got a little bit longer. That's basically the highlights. If you want to hear and see everything, I highly recommend you go back and watch it. I just want to end on saying this. I was sitting in the hallway outside of a Delaware County Council meeting back it would have been like last March, last April. And it was Ryan Webb talking to Emily Anderson, everybody's favorite Emily Anderson. She was up at the podium and Ryan was questioning her like he does. And the questions stopped and they moved on and they started talking to about something else. And they were talking about something else with her being up there. And she talked. And then it stopped and it came time for the counselors to ask questions or right before the vote. Ryan said, "Hold on one more second. I have another question." And I was sitting in the hallway. I could hear Emily Anderson sigh. But what was interesting was it was like in stereo. At the exact same time she did that, I could hear someone in the other room sigh. And then after they sighed, the person in the other room said, "Of course you do." And I thought, what does that mean? I actually stood up and I walked over to look and see who said that. And it was Mark Slusher. It was Mark Slusher who was sitting in the newly built little control room that makes the live streaming happen. And I thought, why would someone say in a shitty tone, "Of course you do"? Of course you do. And the funny thing is since that meeting, I've heard like 3 or 4 or 5 other people say it. During the meeting today, Amber Green, who was just a person up for discussion in that board appointment, Amber Green made a post today on social media while the meeting was underway. The meeting was going. Amber's post says as follows: sitting in the audience and being able to very easily hear, "Of course you do," from a county employee when a county council member has a question about appropriations and the transfers is so disheartening. I'm not sure who needs to hear this, but that is the job of each and every council person. So when I saw that, it blew me away because I now know that other people are hearing it too. She goes on and she says, some class would be nice. All right. I wrote underneath her post and I was very, very outspoken. I was mad. I was like, this is incredible. It's rude. This is disgusting. It needs to stop, yada, yada, yada. Of course, the mailman gets on there and says, questions are asked by all members of the county council during the council when necessary. It's just harder for some to understand the answers. And then he says, I like a lot of the questions that council person asks, but I think many are for show rather than substance. My guess is that a lot more folks were thinking the same thing. Look, he's just running his suck just to run it, I guess. Ryan has never asked, in my opinion, a question that I wouldn't have asked. And a lot of people are going to say, well, that don't matter. You're a blowhard too. It is about getting the information to the citizen. It is about getting the information to the citizen. It is about making sure that the information is out in front of the people who are paying them to sit there. It's about where they are.
Ryan has said as much in meetings before or after meetings where he's saying, I know the answer to this question, but it may not be apparent to the public. So I'm asking the question so you can explain so the public understands what's going on. All of us up here do, but the public may not. So that's why I'm asking this question. He said that during meetings. He said that when he's been on the show. He does it for the public. So it may sound like a stupid question if you're in the know.
Right.
But if you're not in the know, you're like, oh, good. Thank you. Because I was thinking that too.
Right. Right. And yeah, that's spot on, Kate. And the bottom line is that's the job. That is the job. If you're a county employee and if you're just sitting in there just to nib shit, nobody asked you to be there. Get up and go back to work. If you unfortunately have to be there, number one, you're getting You're getting paid to be there. You're getting paid to be there. Okay? So calm down. It's once a month. But more importantly, we have so many people that they're so quick on the city council, county council. They're so quick to say, well, it's about being the fiscal body, or on the city council, about it being the legislative body. Very true. The number one job of every elected official, and I don't care if it's the president, I don't care if it's the mayor, I don't care if it's commissioners, council, state senators, state representatives, the number one job is for them to be a representative for the people in the community. But specifically speaking, when you're talking about city council, county council, town council, county commissioners, state representatives, state senators, above and beyond even the mayor or the governor or all the other elected positions, those specific offices that I mentioned, council, commissioners, state representatives, so on and so forth, they are specifically representatives. They represent districts, they represent areas, they represent counties, they represent cities, they represent the people in their area. Some are in smaller districts, some are at large. It's the same thing. And if we can't expect these people to ask the questions, if they can't be allowed to ask the questions without, feeling like they're going to be hassled and side down and people hate them because they're taking time and making things go, I don't know what to tell you. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this. Enjoy, it's a pain in the ass. Yeah. Would I like to have been able to go through and talked about a 30-minute council meeting? Absolutely. But sometimes when the business takes 3 hours, the business takes 3 hours. But enjoy these meetings, because 6 months from now, meetings are going to be 25 minutes. They're going to be 30 minutes. There's going to be hardly no talking. And they're going to be 6-0 yes or 6-0 no. They're going to always be in favor with each other. No questions. The citizens are not going to know anything. And that's going to be that. So I'm glad we were able to get rid of Ryan Webb. Woo! I'm glad we were able to get rid of a representative who will actually ask questions. Can he be mean? Can he be mad? Can he be hateful? Can he be an asshole? I guess. Imagine he can be all those things. Sure, he can be sweet and loving and a friend and a good father and all those things too. Just depends on where you are and who you are and what the deal is. The world is a big world. There's a lot of people. We're not going to be loved by everybody. We're not going to love everybody. It's okay. But man, I'm telling you, when we've got somebody, what other elected official locally, and I'm gonna really put you on the spot here. Winchester, Randolph County, and I know it's been a long time since we've talked about from anybody from there, but for the people who've been around, think about it. Muncie, Delaware County, Anderson, Madison County, Henry County, Newcastle. What other elected official do you know has really made sure to be outspoken for the transparency for citizens the way that Ryan has? Wrote me. I'm tired, folks. Write me a name of another official. Really, if you can think of one, and this is not a trick question, like name me somebody else. There might be one or two or three. I don't know. I'm telling you, in my book, we have nobody. I'm talking about currently, for right now, forward. Tell me. Bobby is a good commissioner. Bobby's a good commissioner, and I like Bobby. Bobby doesn't do what Ryan does. And I'll tell that to Bobby's face. I've got no problem with that. Ryan does it a different way. Bobby is still political in some aspects of things. Ryan will do what needs to be done. Election, re-election be damned. And that's a big thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for this episode 247. It's been a long day. I am getting ready to get some sleep. We are going to be back tomorrow. We're going to be here a little early because we're going to do the live stream of the Biden tour. Biden, where are you? We'll have to see what happens. It's going to be crazy. We will be here at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we will be on at 9, obviously. We'll just keep rolling, so tune in early if you want to see that. We've got a lot of good stuff we'll be talking about tomorrow. Today is, of course, Tuesday, July 23rd. It's the 204th day without correspondence from Muncie City Councilor at Large Dale Basham. No correspondence. He's no Ryan Webb. That's for damn sure. He won't ask questions. He won't give answers. He just doesn't talk, period. So keep that in your mind. Elections have consequences. Ladies and gentlemen, please, 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 please remember, before you roll out of here, do us a favor, hit the buttons. You know what to do. Smash that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. Then click the bell so you can set up the notifications. That way, when we go early, you'll know that we're early. You won't forget. And give us the finger on the way out. You know what that means. I mean, give us the like button. Hit the like button. Joan Ashley says, I have respect for him because he asks the hard questions and he does not sugarcoat. He rocks in my book. Joan Ashley, that's the way. I appreciate it. And you, Joan, rock in my book. So that's all that matters there, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have been fantastic. Please do not forget to tip your waitresses. And remember, we will be back early tomorrow. We will see you guys. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a good Wednesday. Board of Works in the morning. Sanitary Board of Works 9 a.m. Sanitary District at 11 or 11:30. 11:30. Henry County at 6 p.m. And President Joe and Bilbrey at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow is going to be another busy, busy, busy day. You guys take care. God bless. Have a good night. And goodbye.
Are we taking bets on the length of the Board of Works tomorrow?
It'll be quick.
Stumblefoot thinks it's going to go a whole 9 minutes. I think that's wishing in one hand, shitting in the other, but hey.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 6. Here's another one.
8. I'm going to say 8.
We got GW at 4. With the pledge. Wow. Will we be able to comment live?
I don't think
Another fun game to play.